Okay, let's unpack this. What if we explored a part of human anatomy that's, well, incredibly rich in sensation, but somehow historically overlooked? For you, our listener, who actually brought this fantastic question to us, this deep dive is really about revealing just how vital this structure truly is.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, today we're taking a deep dive into the clitoris. And our mission, really drawing from the amazing sources you sent over, is to help transform your relationship with pleasure and personal power. It's all about understanding and, honoring this incredible part of your anatomy.
Right.
This isn't just reciting facts. It's more about reclaiming something vital for yourself,
Hmm.
uncovering those surprising truths about sexual health, about bodily autonomy, things traditional education often just, well, skip.
Completely missed, yeah.
We'll share some powerful personal stories, bust some of those really persistent myths, offer practical advice, maximizing sensitivity, that kind of thing, and connect it all to this broader idea of empowerment.
Okay, so let's jump right in then. Some of those profound journeys of discovery, we heard from a listener, let's call her Maya. She shared something really, really eye-opening.
Mm.
She was 24, sexually active for years, but felt like she was completely operating in the dark, as she put it. She even found herself faking orgasms sometimes,
Right.
thinking something was fundamentally wrong with her because, penetration alone just wasn't doing it for her.
Yeah, and that pivotal moment for her, and this is a theme we saw in a lot of the stories we looked at, it came when she read an article explaining how female orgasms very commonly stem from clitoral stimulation.
Ah, the light bulb moment.
Exactly. It sparked this huge revelation. So she went home. She actually used a mirror,
Yeah.
really looked, explored her own body properly for maybe the first time. And within a week of doing that, just exploring, she had her first real orgasm.
Wow. And what a shift that must have been. She told us it changed basically everything. Her confidence, her sense of agency in relationships, her whole connection to her body.
It's huge.
She realized she'd been kind of outsourcing her pleasure, right? And now she was taking it back, owning it.
Exactly, taking ownership. Then we also heard from Alexis. Her story was quite different. She grew up in a really conservative household. For her, any conversation about female sexuality was, well, pretty much forbidden, off limits.
Right.
So she got married young, at 22. And she spent 3 years in that marriage, genuinely believing that sex was just supposed to be uncomfortable for women. She never experienced pleasure.
3 years. Wow.
Yeah. Her turning point came later, interestingly, when she was studying pelvic floor therapy.
Oh, okay.
Through her coursework, she started learning about the clitoris's extensive internal anatomy. The visible part is really just the tip of the iceberg. And it suddenly hit her. She'd never actually intentionally touched her own clitoris, ever.
That's quite something after all that time.
Mm-hmm. And that first intentional exploration, her words were mind-blowing. But alongside that came this really powerful sense of anger.
Yeah, I can imagine. Anger that this vital information, this basic knowledge about her own body had been kept from her for so long. Here she was training to help other women.
Right.
And she didn't even know her own body's potential for pleasure.
That anger feels completely understandable. It really makes you ask why. Why has this knowledge been so systematically withheld, or at least not prioritized?
Well, it does seem to tie back to some pretty deep systemic issues, doesn't it? Historically speaking, female pleasure often wasn't seen as important, sometimes even viewed as threatening in certain patriarchal contexts.
And important or threatening.
Right. And the medical establishment for, well, far too long really focused almost exclusively on the reproductive side of anatomy. The parts related to pleasure were just largely ignored. And this connects directly to those bigger issues we mentioned: bodily autonomy, sexual agency, personal power. It's all linked. And maybe another piece of that puzzle, as the sources you brought together show, is just how much more there is to the clitoris than most of us ever learned. Let's unpack that true anatomy. When we talk about the clitoris, what are we really talking about?
Okay, so this is where it gets really fascinating. That small, visible part, the glans clitoris, right at the top of the vulva, that's only about maybe 25% of the entire structure.
Only a quarter. Wow.
Yeah. The rest, the majority, extends internally. It kind of forms a wishbone shape.
Yeah.
It has these two arms, they're called crura, and then two bulbs that actually sit around the vaginal opening.
Okay, so it's this whole internal structure as well.
Exactly. It's much bigger and more complex than just that little bump.
And this is where that research you shared gets incredibly interesting, isn't it? About the G-spot.
Yes, because recent studies strongly suggest that what people often call G-spot orgasms are actually, very likely, clitoral orgasms.
Right.
They result from stimulating those extensive internal parts of the clitoris, like the bulbs pressing against the vaginal wall. It's all interconnected.
It's all the same system, essentially.
Pretty much. So when we talk about maximizing sensitivity, maximizing arousal, we're really talking about engaging this whole complex network, this internal structure, not just, focusing solely on the visible tip.
It's about stimulating the whole neighborhood, like you said earlier.
Awakening the neighborhood.
Okay. So with this deeper understanding of the anatomy and the sort of historical context, let's move to the how. What are some foundational practices, things people can start with to enhance clitoral sensitivity and arousal based on the research you've looked at?
Well, fundamentally, it really begins with exploration and education. The sources consistently emphasize using a mirror, good lighting, having a quality lubricant handy,
Mm-hmm.
just getting genuinely curious about your own body,
Yeah.
without judgment. That's really the first crucial step.
Taking the time to look.
Yes. And then from a physiological angle, blood flow is absolutely key for sensitivity. So things like regular exercise, staying hydrated, managing stress, they all actively support healthy blood flow to the genitals. Makes a big difference.
Okay, so the physical foundations are important, but the sources you curated also really hit on the mental component. From your perspective, what have you found is most crucial about, say, quieting the mind or being present during sex? And how does unlearning that self-critique really impact sensitivity?
Oh, it's huge. That mindfulness aspect is absolutely key. In fact, a lot of the techniques we came across, like something I sometimes call clitoral meditation, are built right on that principle.
Clitoral meditation. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, it's basically a practice, maybe 10, 15 minutes, just gentle exploration, focusing purely on noticing sensations. There's no goal of orgasm, no pressure. It's just about awareness and connection, allowing your body to simply be in the sensation, whatever it is.
That sounds incredibly grounding, almost like reclaiming sensation for its own sake.
Exactly. And what have I personally noticed from doing that kind of practice? Well, it's revealed so much about my own body's rhythms.
Like what?
Like, my sensitivity definitely varies throughout my menstrual cycle. I find I'm often most sensitive right before ovulation, and then sometimes right before my period, it can almost feel too sensitive.
Interesting.
And I've also really noticed how much stress levels impact sensation. If I'm highly stressed, things can definitely feel, well, dulled, less vibrant.
That makes total sense. Our bodies really are dynamic, aren't they? Always changing. Okay, so for listeners looking for more specific techniques, what are some practical applications for enhanced stimulation that the sources highlight?
Okay, one of the most effective ones, and it came up again and again in the materials, is what some call the tease, or as we said, awakening the neighborhood.
Right, the neighborhood approach.
Yeah. So instead of going straight for direct clitoral contact, you stimulate the areas around it first. The inner thighs, the mons pubis, the labia.
Build the anticipation.
Exactly. It builds arousal, increases blood flow to the whole area, and basically prepares the clitoris for more direct touch. Makes it much more receptive.
That's a crucial point, and the sources also really underscore varying rhythm and pressure, right? Not getting stuck in one mode.
Oh, absolutely key.
Yeah.
The clitoris and its huge nerve network just loves variety. So mixing things up fast, slow, light, firm, keeps the signals fresh and exciting. Don't just do the same thing over and over.
And, okay, maybe the most consistent finding across everything, the real non-negotiable, lubricate.
Non-negotiable, yes.
Yes.
Even if you feel naturally aroused, adding a good quality lubricant can make a world of difference. It just reduces friction and enhances every glide, every touch across all those nerve endings.
Amplifies everything.
Definitely. And some people also find arousal gels helpful. Like, can add a different kind of sensation, warming, cooling, tingling that can enhance things too. Worth exploring if you're curious.
And what about positions and angles? Does that play a big role?
It really can, yeah. Especially for
Yeah.
partnered sex. Sometimes just a small adjustment, like lifting the hips slightly with a pillow or trying a different angle of entry or contact, can completely change the amount and type of clitoral stimulation you're getting. And for solo exploration too, don't just lie down. Try sitting, standing, maybe even squatting. Different positions engage the internal structures differently.
Experimentation is key.
Totally. And regarding tools, things like external vibrators designed for the clitoris can be fantastic. But the advice from the sources is generally to start with lower intensities and build up.
Don't go straight to 11.
Right. And always remember, as you mentioned, your hands are your first and honestly, often your best tool. They give you so much feedback and precise control.
Okay. Now, on the flip side, what about decreased sensitivity? Is that common? What causes it?
Yeah, it's definitely something people experience, and it can be really distressing. Our sources point to several factors. Stress is a big one. Certain medications, like some antidepressants, can impact sensitivity. Hormonal changes are huge, especially during perimenopause and menopause.
Huh.
And a history of trauma can also play a significant role.
Okay.
Clinically, there are also conditions like clitoral atrophy, which can happen during menopause due to lower estrogen levels. This can cause the tissues to thin and become less sensitive. But the good news is these things are often treatable.
That's important to hear. It's not necessarily permanent.
Not at all. Seeing a knowledgeable doctor or pelvic floor therapist can really help. And it's so vital to remember, as you said, that sensitivity isn't static. It can change throughout your life, even day to day. What feels amazing at 25 might feel different at 45 or even next week.
Yeah.
And that's completely normal. It's part of our body's natural evolution. The key is just staying curious and adaptable with yourself, right? Through every stage.
Absolutely. Staying curious. Which brings us nicely to this idea of the empowerment ripple effect that the sources talked so powerfully about. How does understanding your clitoris actually translate into broader personal power?
Well, it cultivates this really profound sense of sovereignty over your own pleasure. That's what comes through again and again. You learn that you don't need a partner to give you an orgasm. You have the knowledge, the map, to create pleasure for yourself.
You hold the keys.
Exactly. And that confidence, that deep ownership of your body and its pleasure, it doesn't just stay in the bedroom. It really does seem to ripple out into all areas of life.
How so?
Well, it teaches you to advocate for your needs, doesn't it? If you can understand what feels good to you physically and learn to ask for it or create it yourself, that translates.
Right. It builds that muscle of asking for what you want, generally.
Precisely. Both in and out of the bedroom.
Yeah.
And it can really shift relationship dynamics, too. You move from maybe seeking completion from a partner to seeking to share pleasure with a partner. It's a different energy.
Sharing versus seeking, that's a great distinction. So for someone listening who feels maybe disconnected or maybe there's some shame or awkwardness there, where do they even begin? It can feel overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely. The advice is always start small.
Mm.
Really small. Even just, as we mentioned, looking at your vulva with a mirror.
Yeah.
Noticing, acknowledging, that can be a huge first step.
Just looking. Okay.
And be patient.
Yeah.
So patient with yourself. Please don't compare your experience or your body to anyone else's. Your clitoris, your journey, it's unique to you. And if there's significant trauma there or deep-seated shame, working with a qualified sex-positive therapist or a certified sex educator can provide invaluable, compassionate support. You don't have to navigate that alone.
That's really important advice. So how do we then bring partners into this? Make it a shared adventure, maybe, that feels good for everyone involved.
Education is such a big piece. Often partners, regardless of gender, genuinely just don't know the full anatomy or how crucial clitoral stimulation often is.
They weren't taught either.
Exactly. So maybe make it a joint learning experience. Look at diagrams together, read an article together, and then be specific with your preferences. This is huge. Instead of a vague, touch me there, try saying things like, I really love light circles just on the left side. Or, could you try a bit more pressure right in the center now? Or, slower feels amazing right now.
Giving clear directions, like a helpful GPS for pleasure.
Kind of, yeah. And modeling the behavior you want is also really powerful. Show your partner what feels good on your own body, or guide their hand gently.
Right. Making it collaborative.
Absolutely. It takes the guesswork out and makes it feel more like teamwork.
Okay, let's tackle some of those persistent, harmful myths that seem to hang around this topic. What's a big one?
Oh, okay. Myth number 1. The idea that the clitoris is just for pleasure, implying it has no real or important purpose. First off, pleasure is a real purpose. It's vital for well-being, for connection, for stress relief. But beyond that, some sources even suggest clitoral stimulation might help with things like menstrual cramps. It's not just anything.
Pleasure is valid, period. Okay, what else?
Another really pervasive and damaging one, that clitoral orgasms are somehow lesser than, or not as good as, so-called vaginal orgasms.
Ugh, yes, that hierarchy thing.
It's completely made up and so harmful. An orgasm is an orgasm. Your body doesn't rank them on a gold, silver, bronze podium. Let's just dismantle that idea entirely.
Here. Any other big myths?
Yeah, the idea that the clitoris is inherently too sensitive to be touched directly. While yes, it is highly sensitive, especially the glands, the thing is, with proper arousal.
Lubrication.
Yes, lubrication, the right technique, finding the right pressure, good timing. Most clitoris can absolutely handle and enjoy direct stimulation. It's not about avoiding it. It's about approaching it skillfully and attentively.
Gently introducing it, maybe?
Oh,
Heating up?
exactly. Not going in hard and fast right away.
Yeah.
Listening to the body's response.
So, stepping back a bit, this isn't just about individual pleasure, is it? It feels like there's a broader impact here on women's empowerment.
Oh, definitely. Understanding your pleasure, owning it, talking about it, it inherently challenges these old, often oppressive narratives about female sexuality. Narratives that often paint women as passive or uninterested in sex.
Right. It reclaims agency.
Totally. A woman who knows her body, knows her pleasure, and isn't afraid to advocate for it.
Yeah.
Well, that can feel threatening to systems that can rely on women being disconnected from their own power, right?
It's a quiet revolution, in a way.
It really can be.
Yeah.
And when we share this knowledge with our daughters, our friends, our communities, it becomes this act of collective empowerment, lifting each other up.
I love that. Okay, for listeners who want to go deeper, what are some good resources?
Okay, great question. For reading, we highly recommend Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. It's fantastic for understanding the science of sexual response, arousal, desire, all of it.
A classic.
Truly. And also Becoming Clitorate by Dr. Laurie Mintz. That one focuses very specifically on clitoral pleasure and overcoming barriers to it. Really practical.
Good recommendations. Anywhere else online?
The website omgwise.com has some really interesting research-based videos and exercises focused on specific techniques. It's a subscription model, but many find it valuable. And honestly, just doing a simple Google image search for clitoral anatomy diagrams can be incredibly eye-opening. Seeing the full internal structure visually really helps solidify what we've been talking about.
Good point. Simple but effective. And for medical stuff.
Yes, absolutely. If you have any medical concerns, pain, persistent lack of sensation, anything like that, please consult your gynecologist or, even better if you can find one, a pelvic floor physical therapist who specializes in sexual health. They can properly assess and treat any underlying issues.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So as we start to wrap up this deep dive, maybe we can do some rapid-fire insights. Quick takeaways distilled from everything we've discussed.
Love it. Okay, first up, I'll say again, use lube generously every time. It enhances, it protects, just makes everything better.
Got it. Mine is start slow, build intensity, don't rush the process, enjoy the build-up.
Breathe deeply and consciously. It calms the nervous system, increases blood flow, and heightens sensation. Seriously, don't forget to breathe.
Okay, and don't focus only on achieving orgasm. Let go of the goal sometimes and just enjoy the journey of sensation and connection itself.
Yes, communicate with partners. Clearly, kindly, specifically. It's a shared experience, not a mind-reading test.
Practice self-exploration regularly. Get to know your own body, your own responses, outside of partnered sex too. Build that relationship with yourself.
Remember, your preferences can change day to day, year to year. Stay curious, stay adaptable, keep exploring what feels good now.
And maybe the most important one, your pleasure matters. Full stop. It is not optional, it's not selfish, it's a fundamental part of your health and well-being.
Absolutely. So maybe a final thought to leave people with. Your clitoris is not a luxury item or some kind of bonus feature. It's an integral, vital part of your anatomy. It deserves attention, it deserves care, it deserves celebration. Learning about it, honoring it, exploring its potential is a profound act of self-love and empowerment. And truly, it is never, ever too late to begin that journey.
Beautifully said. Thank you. If this deep dive resonated with you, our listener, please consider sharing it with someone you think might benefit. And we genuinely want to hear from you. Send us your questions, your own aha moments, or maybe topics you'd love for us to dive into next. The email is pleasure@powercast.com. Your body, your pleasure, your choice, always.